You can't be happy if you're trying to please someone else. So a lot of people are scared to be a content creator or an influencer because they're worried about what other people think.
Be for something rather than against something.
Exactly.
Because the more we shout at what we don't like about each other, the more it pushes us apart.
I'm surrounded by these people because of what I'm given, the energy that I'm giving off and the vibration that I'm putting out. That's why these people are around me.
The whole aspect of being a leader is that no one's walked the path before.
I can give you the blueprint. You know the exact route to take, but you have to take the journey. If you are trying to be someone that you aren't, you get found out pretty fast.
Can we be friends with girls?
We could be here for like 10 hours. Let's get the memory cards fired up. You have to be careful. Like, even if you sleep with a girl for one night, there's a chance that she might fall in love with you or get attracted to you, especially if you do a good job. But don't have a girlfriend and then cheat on your girlfriend. Like, if you have one girl, like that one girl is, if she's a good girl, she's devoting herself to you. She wants the best for you. She's probably making sacrifices in her life for you. So you need to make sacrifices in your life for her too.
We really need each other, men and women. Otherwise we cease to exist as a species.
Brands will pay me like $2,000 for one Instagram story post.
From your experience to be a successful content creator, and from your experience of being around other content creators, rather than what do you need, who do you have to be?
If you can document your life, even if you have a normal job and you know that you want to get out of this job in 3 or 4 months, just record little clips on your iPhone, buy a little tripod from Amazon, and just talk to the camera, talk about how you're feeling. You can look back on them videos and you've got that kind of diary, a video diary, and you can be like, fuck, look how I was thinking then.
I have a very small following. I am just getting going with this game. It's fucking wild. It's changed my life. It's made me more money than ever, better connections than I could ever imagine, all from putting myself out there.
And I was getting like literally 22 views on a YouTube video, and that's because I was refreshing the page myself to knock the views up.
It's the one shot you have at creating exactly the specifications of your experience of life, exactly how you like it.
Why are we here? What the fuck are we actually doing? And I told you this after my experience that I had. I came and told you straight away, life is literally just an adventure. We all have a mission, 100%. I know this for sure. And ideally we want to leave the world a better place than what it was. You have to basically decide what is your mission. But at the end of the day, what is your one purpose? What do you want to leave the world? That's the impact that I had.
People are looking for an answer. Like, tell me what it is I need to do. Like, is the answer here? No, you're not going to find it. Oh, well, maybe it's this thing. Tell me what it is I need to do. Okay, that didn't satisfy me. The kind of secret is, like you said, it's like, I decide. That's my mission. I'm going to make that happen. And that's what I'm here to do.
It's been the most enjoyable conversation I think I've probably ever had.
Quick one from me, guys. We get a lot of requests asking about this space where we record the podcasts. So when I was searching for a studio location, I wanted a high quality setup, but also a space with a ton of character and a lot of vibe. So I wanted to let you know about the amazing House of Yore here in Bali. House of Yore is Bali's premium recording studio for creatives, podcast hosts, and entrepreneurs alike. They are also the producers of stunning handcrafted jewelry like the piece that you see around my neck. The studio offers multiple setups for podcasting, solo content creation, as well as photography projects. The studio has a unique cinematic aesthetic, comes with a dedicated technician, along with the best audio and video equipment here in Bali. The founders are both photographers and have a keen eye for detail that most miss. I've loved recording here, but most importantly, my guests have felt comfortable and fallen in love with the space as well. So if you're here in Bali, come in, grab a coffee, and ask to check out the rooftop studio. If you like what you see and think this will be a good spot for your next project, hit the link in the description, book in a slot, and use the code SPARK2024 for 10% off your booking. Also, if you love the artisan jewelry and would like a piece of your own, check out the Yore website or come into the art cafe and see the pieces here on display. And again, use the code SPARK2024 for 10% off your next piece. These things are awesome. Demand for the studio is obviously high and there are limited slots available. So if you have a project coming up, book in now. Happy creating, friends. I know you will love the spot as much as I do. Back to the episode. Mate, I'm so excited to have you here.
I'm very excited to be here.
Yeah, been awesome spending some time with you over the last couple of weeks, really, and getting to know you and feel what you're about as well. And there's so much we can kind of talk about, and there's so much I kind of want to go into. One of the things I wanted to kind of throw over to you to start with is, from being around you, kind of found that you really are just yourself. What you see is what you get, and there's a lot of advice thrown around online where it's like, hey, be yourself. What does that mean to you, and how has being yourself either unlocked opportunities? What does that mean? What's that been like for you? Just being yourself and being real, whatever that means.
It's a very good first question.
Dope.
And also, I want to also just say that I've loved being in your presence for the last couple of weeks. And actually, I feel like my personality really goes well with someone like you. And I actually respect you a lot, even though I've only known you for a couple of weeks. I've listened to a lot of the podcasts and I have a lot of respect for you. So I'm also a little bit nervous about being on here.
Bro, this is going to be awesome. Yeah.
So yeah, my personality is, I don't actually have to think about it. If that's kind of probably the best answer, is that I don't need to. Sometimes it gets me in trouble because I just don't think before I act, and I just be myself, and I don't ever try to be someone that I'm not, because I feel like if you are trying to kind of be someone that you aren't, you get found out pretty fast. So like, I don't know, I think I'm very lucky growing up with the friends that I grew up with, the way my parents kind of educated me, and kind of just pretty much my parents kind of never forced me into anything. They just let me be me, or Louis Louis. And of course that was a little bit of a problem at school with the teachers because the teachers didn't really like Louis being Louis so much.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, even when I was getting told off at school by the teachers, they would always laugh a little bit and be like, for fuck's sake.
They liked you a bit.
Yeah. So like they would tell me off, but also be like, not like, you know, other kids, the really naughty kids would get properly punished, whereas I'd always kind of just get away with it.
You did it with a smile.
Yeah. And that's the thing. That's what I always say, is just enjoy every day and smile at people. Like, I think that literally works wonders for the world. And like, I say this, and again, there's an expression, a Geordie expression, which is shy Ben's getting out.
Shy Ben's getting out.
Shy Ben's getting out.
Okay.
Which means pretty much if you don't ask, you don't get. So I always just go in, like, even going into the wrong gym when I first came here 2 months ago, walked in with a big smile on my face, bit of confidence. Just, that's literally just the way I am. And it's actually funny because I was recording it for YouTube and I was like, oh, any discounts? Like, any discounts for a boy like me, you know? And then the owner of the gym was actually there. No. And when I watched the video back, I was actually talking to one of the staff, one of the girls, and they were like, no discounts, sorry sir, blah, blah, blah. And I was just kept egging them on. And like, I feel like when you joke with people and make them laugh, it kind of brings their guard down. Yeah. And then you can kind of get into people and kind of work. I love working people out. But anyway, the owner, that brought his guard up. And he was like, oh, no, we don't offer discounts. You want to have a look at the gym? You don't need a discount here, blah, blah, blah. And I actually watched the YouTube video back, and it was so funny to watch my emotion versus his. And then me and him became really good friends. Then he started giving me free protein shakes and free coffees here and there. Yeah. And I think just going in and trying to be a happy person, and if you're smiling, most other people will smile back at you. And one thing I really like doing is if there is someone who's a little bit grumpy or a little bit intimidating, I always give them a good smile too, to try and shake them out of it. Nice.
So that comes really from kind of your Geordie roots.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious. So I'll be honest myself as well. It's very interesting. It's something I've had to learn myself, is to be more friendly and be more honest and be more myself. I grew up where I went to lots of different schools in various different countries, and every time you went to a new place, no one knew anything about you. So maybe I could say that I scored this really cool goal that my friend actually scored, and then I'd see that people would be like, oh, that's cool. And I'd be like, oh. So like, it turned me into like a little bit of a white liar. So it was something like when I hit university, I had to kind of like unlearn that. So it's really interesting for me to kind of like hear that, and that it was kind of like in your upbringing. Through being like that and just kind of this vulnerable, open yourself, what are some moments where it's kind of unlocked like crazy opportunities for you, and it kind of things have just fallen into place? Because I know, look, you've got an incredible backstory, been all over the world, traveled with people who everyone knows from YouTube, influencers. Yeah, how did that happen? How did that come about? And
I think when you're honest, you're quite vulnerable. And like, one thing that I've always done from the very beginning is I love talking to the camera. I don't know if this is because maybe I've been thinking into this deeply a lot recently, especially when I meet people like you and I listened to podcasts on psychology and just human behavior. And maybe it's because I didn't get as much attention, or maybe I did get a lot of attention from my mum and dad when I was a kid, but I needed more attention. So I like getting attention, and I like doing things. Like, for example, even if I'm in a metro station in Madrid, I'll probably be doing something to see if I can get someone's attention or like spark a conversation.
Yeah.
And I think, again, when you're really honest and when you're just comfortable with being honest, it makes you vulnerable. And I think everyone has similar problems. People make mistakes, and I'm very honest when I do make a mistake. I'll just be like, fuck, I fucked up here. And I hope you guys can forgive me. And whoever I hurt or whatever happened, I always try and go and make up for that mistake in some way. But I think, for example, like my following isn't the biggest, but just being honest and vulnerable allowed me to get sponsorships from, like, one of the first sponsorships I got was Red Bull, like one of the biggest brands in the world. And then it was BMW, and then it was Gymshark. Like, it was all these big brands, and I didn't have loads of followers, but I think it wasn't even like Louis pulling in these crazy numbers. It was that potentially the marketing manager or the owners of, or whoever was in charge of that kind of like, whoever's in charge of Red Bull marketing team. Oh, I really like Louis because he's vulnerable, because he's open, and because he's honest. Like, maybe he's not pulling in the most numbers, maybe he's not going to make the most sales for him, but we like him and we think he's a good ambassador for the brand. So I found that has helped me a lot. Like, again, like I said, I don't have that many followers on YouTube or Instagram, but I have a really loyal audience who know about everything that I do. Like, I don't keep any secrets at all. And I prefer to be like that, because I find it's just my personality. Like, I find that if I keep secrets and I hold on to things, it weighs me down massively. And as a kid, whenever I did something wrong or whenever something was bothering me, I used to always have to tell my mum. So I never kept any secrets from my mum whatsoever. Like, I remember even when I lost my virginity, I had to tell my mum.
Oh, mate, what was that conversation like?
Like, and I'm always like, oh, mum, just let you know, like, I had sex last night. You know, like, and my mum, like, I don't know, she obviously it was awkward, but she kind of just shrugs it off and laughs and moves on to the next conversation. But I would always do it. Whenever I did anything, I have to tell my mum. This is a weird thing that I have.
That's so
But
funny.
that, again, it helps me, because I never feel weighed down. I never feel like, of course I get sad sometimes, and I do have my low moments, like this morning when Premiere Pro crashed on me. But like,
that'll do it.
It never lasts for that long.
Yeah.
Like, and again, now being here, I'm super happy, in a good mood again. But like, I think sharing your worries and your doubts with other people really helps you. And that's why I try and encourage everyone to find someone that they can reach out to like that.
Yeah.
And that's, again, I have a community now of young boys, young lads, handsome gentlemen. And again, I try and encourage everyone to open up and just be honest. And again, this is something that I've learned only recently I'm 30 years old now. I spent 2 years in Ibiza. And although that was kind of mayhem and destruction, I also learned so much, and I met so many good people. And yeah, I think just being open has helped so much. And I think actually as I'm getting older, I'm getting more and more open and more honest.
There's two things there. There's one, there's this great saying that your rough edges give something for people to hold on to. If you're this perfect, round, polished human being, you're very unrelatable, but your rough edges and showing your rough edges gives people something to hold on to. The other thing, idiom is the truth will set you free. And it is 100% true, right? It's like, if you can just be completely honest and open with where you are, you're not holding on to anything. There's not a lie you've got to remember for years or whatever. You know?
Exactly.
Also, and I think it's interesting to talk about the guys, the handsome gentleman you're working with now as well. When you're honest, with exactly where you are, people can help you.
Exactly.
If you're not honest with where you are and what you're struggling with, people who want to help you don't know how to come in and go, hey,
exactly, bro.
What do you need a hand with?
You couldn't have said it any better. And like, when I listened to your podcast and I saw how you were helping people, one of the first things I did is like, yes, I'm very happy. Like, my life is so amazing, but I know I could be doing way better. And it's not that I'm not putting in enough work, or it's not that I'm unhappy where I am. It's that from speaking to you, speaking to Darren, speaking to Dan, I'm like, wow, these guys have other kind of secrets, not even secrets, but they have other skills and other ways of thinking that can literally elevate my whole entire life for myself and for my community. And again, not necessarily just, I'm not super money driven. Like, my life is literally the best it could possibly be right now. I don't need any more money, but if I can reach a wider audience, or I can reach more people, if I can help more people, then that's gonna make me feel a lot better and give me a lot more fulfillment, I guess.
Yeah. So you're saying not money driven, and this is an interesting one, right? Because the online space, it kind of started with very much like this creator travel space. You didn't really know how much money people was making, just like, oh cool, they're traveling, that looks pretty. Or it's like then the fitness influencers, and it was kind of all of this. And then suddenly it did like a sharp turn where it was like, how to make 10K a month, how to scale to 100 grand. And like all content on YouTube for kind of guys our age and younger, it's kind of focused around money, which I think bringing people up and kind of educating them about businesses certainly helped me an awful lot. But I personally do worry that there's a real focus on the numbers, which actually puts you into kind of a state of fear and lack and always wanting more. And that's not a great state to exist through life, in my opinion, in my experience. So I'm curious when you say, hey, look, I'm not money driven and I literally have the best life. Like, I fucking love my life. What does that look like? How do you feel throughout the day? How do you get yourself into like an inspired state? Do you wake up and you're just like, fuck yeah? Or do you have to do something to kind of get yourself into a state? What's that like to kind of, go through life just being like, fuck, this is great?
That's also a very good question. So obviously my life changes depend on the environment. And I hadn't been to Bali before. This is my first time. And I kind of always knew that as soon as I go there, this is going to be, everyone tells, oh, it's super cheap in Bali. Like, you can live in the best villas, you can eat the best food, you can drink the best coffee. And it's 100% true. Like 100% true. I've been lucky enough to visit so many amazing places around the world. But for living like super high quality lifestyle, Bali is a very good place to do that. And again, so for me to wake up happy, the weather is a big thing. Like, people don't realize how much that can impact you.
Yeah.
And if you wake up in the UK or wherever you are and it's grey and cloudy and rainy every day, it's so hard to feel inspired, to feel motivated to even go out and run, go out and ride your bike, go for a walk, go for a hike. Can't do it. So the weather is one of the biggest things, the biggest factors that I consider whenever I'm traveling somewhere, I'm moving somewhere. So weather is number one, and then sleep is number two. If I get a bad night's sleep, which doesn't happen too often, my girlfriend actually had Bali 2 nights ago.
Yikes. Yeah.
And I felt bad, but there was nothing really I could do, but she disturbed my sleep, and I woke up with a bad whoop score.
Oh man.
And like, I felt terrible. Even though I didn't have Bali, I felt terrible because I'd just been awake the whole night. And then on those days, I just know like, right, I'm not gonna be my best self. So I probably won't film that day. I'll just kind of do things to make myself feel better. So I'll eat good food, I'll go to the gym, I'll do things that kind of elevate my mood. But yeah, sleep is so important. And like, I'm not really a morning person, but I feel like if people get 8 hours sleep, 7 hours to 8 hours sleep, then you're going to be optimal. And I think like, don't go to sleep at 1 a.m. and wake up at 5 a.m. because it's just detrimental, I think, to your whole life. There's no way that you're putting in your best work when you've had 4 hours sleep. So sleep is another one. And then I guess the people that I surround myself with. Previously, before Bali, I was in Madrid for a few months and I was very alone. And although it was really good for kind of doing monk mode, which I needed to do after Ibiza, I wasn't at my happiest. I was happy because I could see my business growing. I could see my physique changing because I was following a good diet. I had cut out alcohol and I could see everything growing. So that was kind of keeping me motivated. But again, knowing that your friends are a 5-minute moped journey away, like knowing that you've got good people to surround yourself with, knowing that in Bali, I can come and meet you, I can meet Dan, I can meet Darren, I can meet Joel, I can meet any of my best friends at any time for lunch. That's another thing that I think really helps. And again, waking up every single day, I wake up every single day and I never have nothing to do. There's always just an endless list. Like every single night before I go to bed, I write down what needs done tomorrow. And I tell people this again, I'm very honest, I'm not the hardest worker in the room. My life balance is sometimes more enjoy than work orientated. But again, I'm happy, but writing stuff down and living every single day with a purpose, as long as I take off 2 or 3 of the most important things, I'm happy. And in terms of purpose for me, what makes me feel fulfilled is making good YouTube videos, and that I inspire people hopefully to live a better life, to get out, to enjoy, to be active, run, lift, eat good food, and try new things, go and try new places, see new places. And then, of course, I have my Creator Club community as well, which I need to wake up, and if people in the group are struggling with something, or I need to wake up and post a message in that group to be like, right, good morning. I'm obviously a few hours ahead of everyone here, but good morning, guys. Let's get up. Let's get it.
Setting
and
the
like,
tone.
what are you trying to achieve today, or what are you trying to achieve this week? So I'm very lucky that I have YouTube and my Creator Club. And again, even if YouTube or if it got taken away, I love taking photos. I love making videos. And I love working out. So they're my 3 kind of components of life that make me happy.
Yeah, the pillars. If you're an entrepreneur, a creative, or an existing podcast host, you're looking to build your influence online and become an authority in your niche, by now you know that having your own podcast is the single best way to do this. Over the last few years, you'll know that any person of influence has released their own podcast. They've realized that this is where the attention is. And this is why I've gone all in with podcasting myself. Not only this, having your own podcast solves the ongoing content grind problem, and it grows your network and your business as you grow the show. 90% of podcasts don't make it past episode 3. Of the 10% that do, 90% of them don't make it past episode 20. Most podcasts aren't monetized, they don't generate qualified leads, and they don't get sponsorships. Rather than grow your business, they just become a very time-consuming hobby. The reason that most fail is because they don't have simple, scalable production systems or have a clear strategy to fit their podcast inside of their current funnel. This is the problem that we're solving inside of the Voix Incubator, program, and community. We walk you through all of the strategies we've used to manage over 35 industry-leading podcasts, generate over 55 million views, and generate over $1 million in products, services, and sponsorships for our clients. So hit the link in the description to watch a free training where we'll show you how to grow your podcast with ease without wasting your valuable time and money. Hope that's helpful for you guys. Back to the episode. Obviously, it's interesting, having spent some time with you as well, people recognize you. People are like, hey, it's you. And they're like, hey, I recognize you from the gym. When people meet you in public, obviously others have a perception of like who you are because they've maybe consumed some of your content and they've spent time with you. And I'm just curious about kind of what that is like, and how you kind of like manage that. Because look, I know you're a good person. I know you're a very giving person, and you always want to bring other people up. But in places like this, like Bali, and where people know your work and they know what you're putting out, you physically can't give to everyone who would, even though you might like to. It's not possible. So I'm really curious, kind of like, how do you manage that in a way that is like respectful? I'm just curious about that, because it's an interesting situation to be in.
It's a difficult one. Yeah. And again, I just have to remember, like, I'm just grateful that I'm able to, that this many people, like, again, it could be to do with, I don't know, not having enough, like, I'm not blaming my parents or anything, but I love attention. So when I've got people pull me in all different angles, come and meet for a coffee, let's get a workout in. Sometimes it is hard. Like in the first month, I made that mistake of just meeting everyone at every moment, breakfast, lunch, dinner, gym, runs. And I was like, fuck, I'm literally exhausted. Like, what the fuck? I'm like literally exhausted. And then, the same people follow up, let's do the same again next week. Let's go for a workout next week. Let's do this next week. And like, gym and run is quite difficult, because even lunch, because like I met Tom the other day when he was having his 1,100 poached eggs and his fruit bowl, and me and you were talking like a really kind of in-depth conversation, and I saw you just swallowing those eggs, like just not even chewing them, just swallowing them down. And I was like, fuck, like, I'm sorry for disturbing you, because I know there's no way that you got to taste those eggs. I don't know if you actually want them out, if you just...
Bro, that's how I eat them all of the time.
I know it's just for the macros, but like sometimes if you go for a nice lunch, if you went to a fancy restaurant, and like sometimes you don't even taste the food because you're so engaged in the conversation. So there's certain moments like that. And again, there's certain times where if you have been busy all day and you want to go to the gym and just put your headphones on, noise cancelling, just ignore everyone and zone out, like you need to do that. But again, I learned that mistake from the first month in Bali, just destroyed, like just wrecked myself. Like And I was like, fuck, I'm literally exhausted here. I need to just basically say no to people. So all I did is just, when I was replying to people, to say, oh, I'm away for a week. And then when they saw me in the gym, I'd just be like, fuck. Came back early. No, but like, bro, I'm very bad at saying no. That's one of my downsides, is that I find it difficult to say no. And I see so many powerful quotes and kind of people telling you like the power of saying no. So that's one thing that I learned last month, is tell people no, maybe next week. I never say no, never. I'll say like, no, maybe next week, or maybe in a couple of weeks, let's link up again. And then it also gives you more stuff to talk about.
Yes, absolutely.
Like if I see you every single day, you might be less likely to do a podcast with me because we've pretty much covered everything. Or you might be more likely because then you've learned more about me. So again.
It's an interesting one. Whenever I have guests, because I don't think I've had any guests on that I don't know, because I want to know someone personally before we kind of go in. But also it's good that kind of like few days before we have minimal contact, so it's fresh. I'm excited to see you have a conversation. It makes for a better conversation.
Another thing as well that springs to mind of when you said, am I exhausted, and like, does it get too much? I remember this is a funny moment that I'd literally just remembered, and I've thought about before, is I used to live in Ireland with my ex-girlfriend for like 10 years. And I remember 3 years or 2 years into that relationship, I basically left all my friends in Newcastle and just moved to Ireland, and just kind of didn't ignore all my friends, but just kind of was out of the circle of all my friends and out of the circle of everyone. And I was just living with my girlfriend's family in their house, and just, pardon me, I had isolated myself. And then I remember like when people used to say happy birthday on Facebook, like, and it would be like, count how many people said happy birthday on Facebook. And I remember like, I had literally just isolated myself, and like 2 people said happy birthday to me on Facebook. And I was like, fuck, like, what am I doing here? Like, like when teenagers get a girlfriend and they just lock themselves off with their girlfriends.
Did that.
And everyone's like, bros before hoes, that type of conversation. We've all done it. But that was a moment when I was like, fuck, there has to be a balance here. And that was literally like probably 10 years ago. But even now, when I think back to that, I never want to be in that position again. I like some people like their privacy, but I like being an extrovert and being out there and saying hello to people. So
with relationships, because look, I think one of the things about relationships is we've all been in them. We've all made silly mistakes. We've all been in love and just done ridiculous things, and we look back and it's funny and we learn lessons and whatever. Is there any, because I know you've been in relationships kind of in your 20s, longer term relationships as well. Is there any kind of like advice or any lessons that you've kind of distilled from relationships where you know what to look for now, you know what you want, what you don't want, you know what red flags are, or you have any opinions about what guys should do, if it's good to have a girlfriend? Or I'm just curious.
We could be here for like 10 hours. Let's get the memory cards fired up. I feel relationships is something that I feel really strongly about. For 2 reasons. One, because I was in a 10-year relationship with probably like one of the nicest girls in the whole entire world. And I was kind of confused and I made a mess of it at the end. So that was kind of hard for me. And also because my best friend, who shall not be named, also, he's getting better now. He's much better than what he was, but I kind of saw how he behaved. When I was in a 10-year relationship, I was watching how he was behaving with girls.
Okay.
And although he didn't mean to, there's various reasons to why he behaved like that. Now, like, I just knew that I was just trying to be a good person. I don't want to break anyone's heart. Like, you have to be careful when a girl falls in love with you. Like, even if you sleep with a girl for one night, there's a chance that she might fall in love with you or get attracted to you, especially if you do a good job. And like, you have to just be careful. Like, everyone's human. You don't want to fuck people over. You don't want to break their hearts. I'm very lucky because I've never had my heart broken. But you just have to be careful how you treat people. And like, I see people all the time, like, if you want to be with various other girls, do not have a girlfriend. You do not need a girlfriend. You can just go and be free and be single and do whatever you want. But don't have a girlfriend and then cheat on your girlfriend. Like, if you have one girl, like, that one girl is, if she's a good girl, she's devoting herself to you. She wants the best for you. She's probably making sacrifices in her life for you. So you need to make sacrifices in your life for her too. And if you both want to go different paths, if the road kind of splits and you both have different opinions and different ways that you want to live, like one girl, maybe she wants to stay in her hometown and you want to go off and explore the world, then you need to have a conversation, a difficult conversation, and see what's going to be best. But again, you can't be happy if you're trying to please someone else.
Yes.
So if you can try like, oh, I'm going to marry this girl, but like if you're not actually doing what you really want to do, if you feel like you're being held back, or if you feel like you are going to then sacrifice certain things that you've always dreamt of for this one girl, then it's very, very sad. But you have to basically say like, no, I need to go and explore these options. And again, you can probably work it out. I think in most cases, in most relationships, you can work it out and you can kind of come up with a plan that it works for both of you. And I mean, if you really love someone, you should never cheat on them. You should never, like anyone that cheats on their girlfriend says, oh, I love my girlfriend. It's like, no, you don't. If you loved her, you would never, ever cheat on her or go with other girls. And I mean, you can talk to other girls, you can be friendly, you can flirt, all of that type of stuff. That's completely fine. That's harmless as long as there's no intention behind it. But again, I think there's a lot of girls with broken hearts, and it's because boys are a little bit they don't think about their actions enough. And I kind of feel really strong about that because I've met plenty of girls who, oh, my ex did this and my ex did that and my ex did that. And like, I like to help people, but I don't want to be picking up the pieces of all these different girls with all these different issues. But that's what I find myself doing sometimes. And again, maybe that's a problem with myself. But I'd prefer if you're with a girl and you don't want to be with her, you just need to be honest and say like, look, right now, I don't want anything long term, and just be honest and open from the beginning. And that way no one gets hurt.
It makes such an interesting perspective. And look, there's a big culture of, look, yeah, you have your one girl, but then there's, girls don't mind if you treat them right. You can like sleep around. Okay, all right.
I don't believe that at all. Yeah. If you think you can treat a girl however you want, and she's going to let you do whatever you want, that girl is most likely unhappy. She's not strong enough to tell you what she wants. But I don't think there's any girl really who wants to be your girlfriend and then is happy for you to go around sleeping with other girls. And there's no way. It's just that girl isn't strong enough. She hasn't gathered the courage, or she's not old enough or experienced enough to tell you like, look, I actually don't want you to do that because I really like you.
You want your girl to have like, because if you love them, you want them to have those standards for themselves.
Of course. You want a strong girl. You want someone who's got some depth. You want someone who's got an understanding of the world who, if they don't want you to do this, then they need to tell you.
Yeah.
And I mean, sometimes if you don't want to listen to it, then break up with her.
Yes.
And go and do whatever you want.
Yeah. Boundaries. Yeah, man. That's a really interesting one. And it's definitely, I think, a maturing issue, or say an issue. It's a maturing topic. I mean, the dating topic's always going to be a topic. We've kind of come through this period of like all these OnlyFans girls on these chat shows and people like ripping them apart. And the energy and I'm not saying that's good or bad, like people have made decisions, but I think what people don't realize is making fun of these girls is kind of like, you're adding to the same energy. You're adding to the same thing. Like it's
completely ridiculous. Like just you're watching them girls on YouTube. Just don't watch them girls on YouTube. Don't go for an OnlyFans girl. There's so many other normal girls in the world. Just don't go for an OnlyFans girl. Or look at where you're choosing to find these girls. So if you're in Dubai, if you're in Miami, if you're in Ibiza, you're at a much higher percentage of picking up the wrong type of girl than if you're in Yorkshire in the hills in the UK. Like look at where you're trying to find it. But look at where you're trying to find the girls. Look at the types of girls that you're going for. If you're going for a girl that's in a club and she's at a table, like you're choosing the wrong. If you don't like that and you want to kind of dig into all these OnlyFans girls, like no one is forcing you to choose one of those girls.
Yes.
And if you're picking girls up from a club and they're at tables and they go out every single night of the week, like that is not the type. Like for me, that's not the type of girl that I want. Yeah. And it's going to be very hard to develop a serious relationship with a girl who wants to go and do that.
So yeah, like obviously you're clear with what you want. I was introduced to kind of like quite an interesting perspective the other week actually, and it's this idea that like these there's a lot of kind of hate thrown at like OnlyFans, hoes, all of this. Men are giving them the attention. They exist because we say yes. We say, as men or as women, whatever, we say yes, more of that, and we say it with our time, with our attention, and with our money. And all they're doing is, okay, you can say what you want about someone's morals, but they're capitalizing on that attention in the way that they know
exactly
how. Like, who are you to judge, really, when you're the one feeding it? And it's if you don't like it, it's not a case of, oh, I'm going to talk shit about them. Like, I'm going to start a podcast, invite a load of them on and just like talk shit about them. Actually, I'm going to focus my attention and my time elsewhere.
Exactly.
Be for something rather than against something.
Exactly.
And I think this is kind of like the turn we're going to have to take, really, if we want to mend what we've got going on. Because the more we shout at what we don't like about each other, the more that creates more of that energy and the more it pushes us apart. And we really need each other, men and women. Otherwise, we cease to exist as a species. So we need to figure out how we can really get on and make that work.
Yeah, like exactly. Like it's not us against them. And I don't like, and also if you're with your partner or your girlfriend or whoever it is, remember, like, you're a team. You're not against each other. You're not in competition against each other. And like stupid shit, like my friends are always getting in trouble for liking other girls' pictures and stuff. And like this again is another thing that's just completely ridiculous. Like, ask yourself, would you be happy if your girlfriend is liking other boys' photos? And if you don't care about that, that's fine. Then you can go and like girls, because then you're obviously very secure, or you just don't care, or you don't think like that. But if you don't like it when your girlfriend likes other boys' photos, then don't go and like girls' pictures.
Can we be friends with girls?
It's a hard one.
It's a hard one, right?
I don't think, like, this is what I've explained. I've explained this, like, God, this might rile people up the wrong way. But I've told my girlfriend 1,000,000 times that all of her boyfriends are like, bro, I looked at the messages on it. I've seen the messages on Instagram. She shows me, oh, look, it's nothing. But like, they're reacting with heart eyes to her bikini pictures. And I'm like, he's not just your friend. Like, he wants to fuck you. And at some point, potentially will want to fuck you. If me and you break up, then he's waiting for the door to be open again. Like,
they're called male orbiters.
Yeah, there's like a very low chance that there's a guy speaking to a girl because he just wants to be friends. I mean, I have a really good friend, Sophie, in Ibiza, and she's like my sister. But my girlfriend sometimes gets very insecure about her and doesn't trust her. But I can't explain it because I don't trust her boyfriend. So it's a really difficult situation. But Sophie's like literally like one of my best friends. She's like my sister. She's like, I don't think of her in that way at all. So it's hard to explain that to a Latina girlfriend.
Yeah, I bet.
But then she wants to tell me, and again, I should have got super personal with this, but I don't care. Me and my girlfriend want to talk about this type of stuff anyway, because I'm interested to hear other people's perspectives. Like, I don't care. People can judge me all they want. So like, how should I be allowed Sophie to be one of my friends, but I can't allow my girlfriend to be friends with one of her friends?
Yeah.
But then again, it's just boundaries. Like, Sophie doesn't react with heart eyes on every single story that I post or say weird things. So, I mean, you have to be able to read the situation. But I think you can be friends with a girl, and I think a girl can be friends with boys, but she has to have her boundaries in place, and she has to have respect and kind of some form of authority to be like, look, you can be my friend, but like, there's nothing ever happening here.
What I found recently is I've become, because I don't know the answer. I don't know the answer. There's some beautiful women and amazing, wonderful women I've met over the last 2-3 years from traveling who, haven't dated necessarily, but I think they're incredible people and I've learned so much from them. Has there been something there from there? And maybe, and it does get a bit, I can feel where the blur sort of happens. I'm like, oh, and I kind of like withdraw a bit of attention. But what I found recently is being friends with my mates' girlfriends is actually a really nice relationship, because the boundaries are so clear. So it's actually, a lot of my best girlfriends now are girlfriends of my mates, because you have those clear boundaries.
Which is really nice.
It's really nice. It's really nice, man.
And it's also nice because, like, it's also nice, say for example, it's nice if she ever wanted to talk to you, not behind her boyfriend's back, but if she ever wanted to talk to you about something about him, then you can kind of give a boy's opinion. It's always nice to have another man's opinion or another woman's opinion on something. Because sometimes when you just get girls' opinions, like if it's a girl and she just listens to the girls, then it's going to be problems. And if you're a boy and you just listen to the lads, just put her in the bin. Like, you don't need her anyway. Just come with the lads. So we feel like you can't listen to that.
Yeah.
Like boys, just your boy friends who are single and want to just enjoy you as you, and they don't want you to have a girlfriend because they're being selfish.
Yeah.
So you have to always just remember like who you're speaking to and what advice you're taking.
There's always ulterior motive. Well, often there's ulterior motives. Mate, I wanted to kind of switch gear a little bit and talk about content creation and the Creator Club, and talk about just how content can fucking change your life. Like, I mean, I have a very small following. I am just getting going with this game. It's fucking wild. It's changed my life. It's made me more money than ever. It's made me better connections than I could ever like imagine, all from putting myself out there. With the Creator Club and with the guys you're getting on, what does it unlock? Like what? Because content creation, we hear all this shit, man. It's like, oh, I'm a creator, I'm an influencer, I'm this, I'm that, and people can maybe feel resistance to step into that. It's like, oh, I don't want to be like an influencer. I don't want to be a whatever. For you, what is content creation? What does it even mean? And why is it like your mission to take these guys and be like, hey, this is going to fucking change your life?
Yeah. So let's start with the kind of negative aspects of being an influencer. I think a lot of people from the outside, when they think of influencer, I think it's a bad word, first of all. And now they're kind of trying to change that word to be creator, which again, some people have a problem with that. And like, you know who. Yeah. And like, for example, I think a lot of people, their association with influencers, especially people who aren't content creators, who have a thing against social media, kind of see all influencers as, have you seen the Instagram page Influencers in the Wild?
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah.
Like just influencers behaving badly, like setting up their tripods in the middle of the road, stopping traffic. Like, I think that's how most normal people who aren't in our kind of circle and who aren't interested in content creation, I think that's how normal people look at us. And actually what's funny is like, this is our job. Like what we're doing right now is our job. It's our work. It's our passion. It's what we love. It's what we enjoy doing. And like, if someone sat at their desk and we don't peek through their office window and be like, why the fuck are you doing that? But like, if I walk along the street with a camera, people are like, oh, what an idiot, what a dick, and call me all sorts of names and judge me just because I'm holding the camera and walking down the street. But I never go looking through office windows, banging on the window and telling people like, you shouldn't be sat at that desk. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, people will get so butthurt on like, and I don't want to be negative. I never go into negative, but I, again, feel very strongly about it. And also a lot of people are scared to be a content creator or an influencer because they're worried about what other people think. But like, I've been posting YouTube videos now for like 7 years. I've pretty much never ever ask anyone to buy anything from me. They always have a choice. If I like a product, I promote the product because I'll always test the product before I use it. So any brands that I work with, I've tried to test the product and I loved it. And in most cases, I've probably reached out to that brand to ask them if they want to collaborate with me because I want my audience to try the product. But people will get annoyed when you put a 30-second ad of a product that you like in your YouTube video. I'm not watching this anymore because you're trying to sell me something. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm just telling you about a product. And also you can literally press the skip button, press the right arrow key 3 times, and that's going to skip you 5 seconds each time and you're finished. Yeah. Like then you can watch the rest of the video. And also you're watching all of my content, consuming all my content for free. You're not paying me anything. And like, this is my work. This is my life. This is my job. Yeah. So like, why can I not just promote a product in peace without... he's selling his soul to the devil, like, and I'm like, what? This is insane. You've literally consumed my content. Like, they'll put like long-term subscriber here. Can't believe you're pushing this product. And it's like, you've literally, like, they know who I am, but people just keyboard warriors, especially on YouTube. I never really get any hate at all on Instagram. Yeah. But people on YouTube. But again, that's the negative side of being a content creator or an influencer. And definitely you can't let that put you off. Like, I love having keyboard wars with people sometimes. Like, I get such a thrill from it. But again, being a content creator, I think, is the best thing in the entire world. I have nothing negative to say about social media. I absolutely love it. I love filming my life. I love documenting my life. Like, everyone's like, oh, you don't enjoy the moment. And like, there are certain times where I feel like you shouldn't film and you should enjoy the moment on special occasions. And I think that's why you have to kind of be quite strict with, like, for example, me and my girlfriend are going away at the weekend and we're going to say, okay, no phones for 24 or 48 hours. And let's just be present and kind of disconnect from all of that kind of outside noise. And again, but filming, documenting my life, I've got basically a journal of, like, I've uploaded pretty much every single week for the last 6 or 7 years. I've maybe had a month off here or there, but I've got like a journal of my entire life for the last 6 years. And I can see exactly how I've grown as a person. I can see all my best memories. I can see all my travels. I can see everything that I've done. I can see all the interests that I've kind of came in and out of. For me, there is no downside at all. And I get paid to do this, and to like, the amount of messages, like the amount of positive messages I have is, honestly, I'm not trying to brag at all. Thousands and thousands of people. Oh, I started running because of you, or I did this because of you, or I went to Ibiza because of you. Like, my life has changed because of you. Like, so many different things. Or I was having a really bad day and I watched this video and it cheered me up. Or thanks for helping me fix my sleep. Or like, I'm videoing my life, sharing my experiences, and people are changing their lives and improving their lives because of watching me. And like, one thing that I like to say with my YouTube is it's a self-experiment. So I like to try new things. I like to get out my comfort zone, and I like to do things that I find difficult. And then I never tell people like, oh, you need to eat the carnivore diet, or you need to run a marathon. I do it, and I tell people about the benefits, how I felt, how it's helped me, or even the downsides, so that people can watch that and then they can decide for themselves, okay, I'm going to run a marathon in 2 months or 3 months, or I'm going to eat acai bowls every day.
Fuck yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? And like, they're also, I don't think too deeply into it. I literally just live my life as normal. And I like video and I love cameras. Like, we've got 3 amazing cameras in here. I was geeking out with the camera podcast man about the cameras, and I love cameras. I love photography. I love videography. I love even when you do a little kind of free stories I find it interesting watching other people's lives too. And what I've realized now, especially in the state of content creation, a lot of stuff is self-improvement. So I'm consuming your content. Most of the content that I'm consuming is improving my life, or it's inspiring me to go and live a better life. Yeah. So for me, there is no downsides at all. And at the end of the day, whatever you're doing, I think everyone should first of all, journaling is really good for everyone. But if you can document your life, even if you have a normal job and you know that you want to get out of this job in 3 or 4 months, just record little clips on your iPhone, buy a little tripod from Amazon, £8, and just talk to the camera before you go to work, talk to the camera when you get out of work, stand up in the bathroom when you're having a shave, and just talk about how you're feeling. And like, you never know, in 5 years, 4 years, however long, you can look back on them videos and you've got that kind of diary, a video diary, and you can be like, fuck, look how I was thinking then. Look at the situation I was in then. Yeah. Look how my mindset's changed. Look where I am now. Or your life might decline. And then you can look back at them videos and be like, look, I was so happy there. What did I do there differently? Yeah. So, bro, I think, like, especially with our iPhones, document everything, video everything. And like, you're not showing off. Like, if you want to post your videos of you at the beach drinking a coconut, that's good. Like, good for you. It's a memory. Yeah. Like,
it happened.
Yeah.
It was real.
Like, you're allowed to go and enjoy your coconut on the beach and not worry about what other people think, or why are you not working 9 to 5, or like, how come you've got a holiday here? I don't have a holiday. Yeah. Like,
so there's a few interesting things there, man. And one of the things I've loved over the last year is I open up any social media app and I see my mates. I see my mates fucking killing it. And like, because I've kind of entered this game, I'm like, fuck yeah, my turn. Like, I want them to see, like, it's like a competition, but in a friendly way. It's exactly. Like, okay, you smashed it today. I'm going to smash it today. We're all smashing it today. I open up YouTube. Sick. You got a video out today. Awesome. Mine's going to be up as well. And I consume my mate's content, and it's the best. It's so much fun.
I think what I will just say again quickly, that's one thing that I kind of take for granted. And now with the Creator Club, I'm kind of more aware of it, is that I was in this circle. For a while, I was making videos alone. and it was very difficult being alone. Everything was YouTube tutorials, but even then you can watch a YouTube tutorial and you still don't get the answers that you want. So I think now everything's kind of changing. Everyone's a lot more open. Everyone shares the secrets. But like for the first kind of 2 or 3 years, I was completely alone. And then when I started working with Mike First and Rob Lipsett, all of them guys, then we kind of came together. One, because we were all living this amazing lifestyle that we're free to do whatever we want. Doesn't matter if it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. The day of the week doesn't matter. We can do whatever the fuck we want. And being with other like-minded people who are all doing the same thing is like, wow, this makes it so much more easy. This makes it so much more fun. We can all help each other. We can all share each other's videos. We can all collaborate. We all win from each other. And that's what I'm trying to build with the Creator Club, is that let's make a community. Like now, when any of the boys post in the Creator Club, the videos, we all go and comment.
Yeah.
Like, and there's 45 people in the group. So now normal guys in the UK who felt alone on their journey and were unsure about their videos, they're getting feedback from 45 people. They're getting inspired. They're getting motivated because they know it's being seen by like-minded people, and we're all trying to help each other.
Yeah.
And I think just being surrounded and in competition with each other, but in friendly competition, it's a really good thing. Like it's the best thing. You're going to be constantly be pushing to be better than your friends and to be the best, and they're going to be against you in a friendly competition. So I think it's a really good thing.
Bro, it's such a fun space. Like the way I think of it is like, it's the one shot you have at creating exactly the specifications of your experience of life, exactly how you like it. What other thing do you get that it's like every day you get kind of like an attack, a shot at reality to be like, I want this exactly as I would like it. Like you just get to document who you are, and it's this whole thing would be that be your own brand. It's like just live your life and document it and kind of do whatever the fuck you want.
Exactly.
And explore your curiosities. I think it's really powerful what you said about having the guys to support you. That's so important, like not feeling alone. What I wanted to ask is, so getting into content creation, people might think, right, I need to buy a GoPro, and then I need to buy this, and then the new DJI is out. Okay, well, which one do I buy? Okay, and fuck this. Okay, camera equipment, all that. It's important. You got your iPhone, whatever. What's interesting to me from your experience to be a successful content creator, and from your experience of being around other content creators, influencers, whatever, rather than what do you need, who do you have to be? Like to be a successful content creator, what attributes do you have to step into? Who do you have to become? And how does that work when it's kind of like unique for you? You're your own unique person. Are there any similarities you've noticed? Attributes that people have? Yeah, what's the internal stuff that people have had to do to get themselves there?
It's a really good question as well. And again, I think now it's getting a lot easier for me as I get older and wiser. I have more stories to tell. I'm going to talk more as if I was thinking about being a content creator on YouTube.
Okay.
I think that's a better platform. Instagram is very just trends. And that's a kind of thing that a lot of people fall for the trap of. I'm going to follow this trend where I film myself for 3 seconds, then I put this information on the screen being like, read the caption, comment here, save this, do this, and that's going to grow my page.
Yeah.
I think just step away from, ignore all of that. That's all bullshit and temporary. Whereas if you start from scratch on YouTube, the algorithm is very fair on YouTube. And if you have a good story and you have good quality videos, YouTube, 100 million%, you will be successful on YouTube if you're consistent, if you're patient, and if you're posting good content. And it doesn't have to be good from the first video. As long as you're progressing every single week, post twice a week, every single video is going to get better and better, 100%. Even my videos, every time I post, it gets better. And sometimes when I post, I'll know that maybe I didn't put as much effort into that as what I could have. And I'm actually a little bit disappointed by that. That's a reminder, don't do that again. So if you're super young and you're 17, 18 and you want to get into content creation and you're not that wise and you haven't experienced that much and you've been living in your parents' spare room and you don't really know what you can offer the world, I would say just document your journey of learning and getting into things. And the number one thing, this is what most of the boys in the Creator Club struggle with, is they're worried about the opinions of their close friends in their small town. And like, I've got boys from Germany, from France, from the US. And one of the common problems is that, I don't want to post it on this profile, on my current profile, because I'm worried about what my close friends and family are going to think. And like, that is the number one thing that I try and drill into them is like, who gives a fuck, right? Because when I first started, I would ask all my friends to share my videos. Instagram was barely even a thing, so it would be sharing their videos on Facebook, share my YouTube videos on Facebook. Everyone used to laugh at me and be like, what is this guy doing? Like, we've all just finished uni, we're going into our full-time jobs. What is this guy doing? Like, what a loser. He's got his drone, he thinks he's like someone and he's not. And I was getting like literally 22 views on a YouTube video, and that's because I was refreshing the page myself to knock the views up.
Fuck yeah.
And everyone's like, you have to just not give a fuck. Like, you have to know what is your goal. I want to be, for example, mine was, I love Casey Neistat. I think he's one of the best YouTube creators in the world. I was like, I want to one day do something or be in a similar position to what Casey Neistat was. And I used to find it unbelievable that every Thursday he would go into his office and he would open all his deliveries from all these different brands. And and I was like, fuck, that's the best feeling in the world, just getting all of the most amazing new products for free and being able to open it on camera. And he's getting paid to do that. Right. I remember that was like literally just my goal. And again, it wasn't really the money, it was just getting the free stuff.
Yeah.
And I just had to literally just ignore people. And like, of course I was sad when my friends wouldn't share my video, and like sometimes I'd have to ask a few times. But I remember so clearly, like when the tables kind of turned and then my friends started having small businesses in my local town. Can you share my sunbed shop on your page? And I'm like, no, absolutely not. Like, I'm sorry, but like brands will pay me like $2,000 for one Instagram story post. I'm not going to share your sunbed shop on my fucking Instagram story. Like, when I don't give a fuck about that, like, I'm sorry. Like, you laughed at me. And like, again, I'm not doing it to be spiteful, but it's got no, like, my audience is, if I push a fucking sunbed shop, which has no relevance to my audience and it's going to give them skin cancer or do something, like, it's not going to help my audience in any way, I'm not going to promote it. Like, it's not going to benefit me. It's not going to benefit my audience. So no, the answer is no. So again, like, you just have to not worry about what small-minded people think. If you come to Bali, this is another thing that I've been telling all the boys, come to Bali or come to a place where everyone is open-minded, everyone's on the same page. It's a lot harder to do it in a small town in the UK because people don't believe in you. And even though you can try and just ignore them, it will kind of slow you down. So again, being in the group where everyone's encouraging each other, everyone's like-minded, that helps a lot. But again, if you don't feel like you've got anything to give, just document your journey. Document you learning a language, learning a skill, learning how to do photography, learning how to run, like literally could be anything, learning how to track your macros. Bro, I tell so many people, even if a lot of people now go to the gym or in fitness in some way, just video your transformation, show us how you're trying to bulk up, show us how you're trying to gain muscle. Like, just document your life. And if you don't feel like you've got anything to give, just show you learning and show us the steps that you're taking to learn whatever it is you're interested in. And also I have boys as well who are like, I think he's 20 and comes to me probably every month. Actually, I love him. He's called Jake. He's coming to live with me in Madrid.
Fuck yeah.
Next month. But like, he comes to me and he feels embarrassed. And I'm like, bro, don't ever come to me and feel embarrassed. He's like, I told you last week I wanted to do drop shipping and now I want to do online coaching. And me and him were going to set up an online coaching business. And then we did it for 2 weeks. And he said, before we're about to launch, he was like, oh, do you know what? I don't want to do online coaching. I was like, good. Thank fuck you told me. Like, that's so brave of you to do this. Then he starts an Instagram account and he doesn't even share it with me. And I'm like, share it with me now, please. And I want to check. And the content was so good, but he was so scared of his content, of the person who the type of content that he wanted to create was, this is what I'm doing. This is my morning routine. I'm going out for a run today. This is what I'm eating. This is me feeling good. He was basically giving people advice, but he didn't want his own friends to see it. And that was the content that he enjoyed making the most. And his biggest problem was that he didn't want people in his small town judging him for becoming a better person. And I think that's like,
when you said that sentence, that's mind blowing.
It blows my mind. And we're lucky because we're here.
Yeah.
We're here in this situation. We're having these unbelievable conversations with so many like-minded people who are all cheering each other on. And those guys, I feel sorry for them because they're in that position, in that small town where people are pulling them back and they don't want them to escape. They don't want them to go to Bali. Like, I literally remember one of the craziest times ever it was coronavirus, like peak corona. And I got on a fucking plane, business class, because It was my first time flying business class and I wanted to flex it, okay? And again, like I said, I'm not money orientated, but when you get business class for the first time, it's a big deal. So me and my friend Joel, my best friend, we fucking got business class to Dubai and we're like, fuck it, we're not going back. And literally got the most hate ever from everyone in my small town. How dare you? You're killing people, like blah, blah, blah. Because I'm going to Dubai and Dubai was like not super locked down like what the UK was. So you could still go to the gym in Dubai. You could still go make content. You could be with other people making content. And that was my job as well. Like that's my work. If I stay locked in my house, I don't get whatever it's called when people were getting money in coronavirus. People were getting paid to stay in their house. What was it? What was the name?
I can't remember, bro. I didn't see any of that.
So like in the UK, if you worked a normal job and you couldn't go to work, you would get paid by the government to stay at home. So all the lazy people who hated their job were so happy about coronavirus because they got to stay in their house and do fuck all and get paid. Furlough. It was called furlough.
Yeah, that was the one.
And I was like, I don't get fucking money off the government to sit in the house and be an absolute waste. So I just went to Dubai and it literally... Everyone hated it because everyone was trying to pull me back. Everyone wanted me to be like them, to be stuck in Whitley Bay, to be stuck in the UK and to follow all these rules. So like whenever you're trying to escape that, you're going to face resistance. And it's just about, I think, having a good team of people around you who are going to help pull you out of the resistance.
I'd also say to guys, it's like, fucking enjoy it. That's part of it. Like everyone who we speak to, everyone in our circle, they've been through it and it's funny now. And it's something we can all relate on. It doesn't matter if they're from New Zealand. Doesn't matter if they came from fucking Yorkshire. Doesn't matter if they came from wherever. Everyone's been through that story of, right, I just fucking pushed through it. Felt all of that shit, that tall poppy syndrome, crabs in a bucket shit. Oh, it sucked. But then when you keep pushing, something will happen. Something will fall into place because other people will see what you are doing. They will see that in you and they'll go, I'm doing that too. Let's fucking help each other out. And then suddenly the amount of people I met, like when I just started posting or whatever, and now they're friends. And people I looked up to, now they're friends. And this is what happens. But you have to go through that shitty period to unlock it all.
Of course. Like I think people will initially kind of watch you and they probably would, like, for example, people who are watching you kind of go through that change, they'll watch you and they won't like your posts. They'll just look at it and they'll watch you and they'll consistently watch you every single day. They might even follow you from a fake account. And then eventually you might say something and when you can't change them through your content. Their mindset has to change. They have to decide they want to change themselves. And next thing they'll like all of your posts. They'll say perfect. Oh, Tom, I've been watching all of your stuff for years. And they might never have commented. They might never have liked it. And I want to do something similar to you. How can you help? And bro, if you are ready to change and you're willing to change, I will help you as much as I possibly can because there is no reason for us all to be losers and just cry about fucking what the neighbor's eating for breakfast. Who fucking cares?
Yeah.
Go and live a life. Literally go and live a life.
That is the level of people's problems.
It is. Yeah. And my parents are the same and I can't listen to it. It's for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Oh, the fucking neighbor's cat took a shit in my grass, mom. And I'm like, Mom, I don't care. Fuck.
Mate, it's so true. Mate, it's funny though, right? And I've been trying to figure that out. Why is it we do that? And I think when you're a leader, you have to lead, you have to walk a path. And the whole aspect of being a leader is that no one's walked the path before. In whatever area and whatever degree you're going to lead in. So you have to just figure out the path and you're going to make the mistakes and you're going to look back and be like, don't do that. That was good. More of this. And that's what makes you valuable is by taking the steps, completing the actions. You get to crossroads, you have to make decisions and then you get data from that and then you learn from it and then you become valuable and people, ask you, can you help? And you're like, yeah, sure. This is what I did along this path. But you have to walk the path yourself.
Exactly. That's so true. And that's one thing that I always tell people is I can give you the blueprint. I can give you the fucking Google Maps. You know the exact route to take, but you have to take the journey. You have to put the steps. You have to do the journey. I can show you the journey. I can show you the route, but you have to make the steps. You have to be willing to make the steps. And it might take a little bit longer than what you're expected. And another thing that I think is literally so helpful, which I kind of always take for granted, is having a mentor.
Yep.
Mike Thurston, I have to give him a huge shout out here. He has been my mentor for like, when I think about it, like the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And he's my best friend, him and Joel. And like, I've had these mentors in my life, but I've never had to pay for them. So I've never kind of thought of them as a mentor. But now when I'm in Bali and I'm speaking with you or with Darren or with Dan, I'm thinking about it like I'm literally getting mentored for free by these guys because we're all friends. Like they're helping me for free. And like, sometimes I have a bit of imposter syndrome and like, maybe I don't deserve to be helped for free because like they're charging a lot of money to their clients for this. But like, I'm just fortunate enough to be in a position. And like you said at the start of the podcast, I think if I give off good energy, people will want to help me for free. I'm not asking people to help me for free. People often come to me like, oh, Louis, I love what you're doing. Here's a suggestion for how you can improve. And that's free mentoring from like the elite people, from the people that I respect the most. So like with Mike, I always had Mike Mike was always just a good few levels ahead of me with YouTube, with everything, with business. And me and Mike still sometimes make the same mistakes. Like we're still very similar. And like just having a mentor, having someone to look up for, having someone to look up to, having someone who's just a few steps ahead of you that you relate to, I think that's super important. Me and Joel have spoke about this a lot. Joel has like, again, I shouldn't be so personal, but I don't care. Like they're my best friends. Like sometimes look up to people who fucking work 15 hours a day. And I'm like, bro, you're not going to work 15 hours a day. Like we both know that. Neither am I. Yeah. So we're not going to probably get to that level. And we don't really need to make 100K a day anyway.
Yeah.
Like we don't need that. So like, let's be honest with ourselves and what we actually want and what we're willing to, and how much we're willing to put in.
Yeah.
And again, I am so lucky, like what I said, of having that friendship group. Even one of my friends, Ranbir, he got me, he's like my manager. He's also one of my best friends. He helped me with all my brand deals and he helped me kind of, if a brand offers me this, okay, well, go back to them and say this. He would fucking write the WhatsApps and the emails for me.
Yeah.
So I'm just so lucky to be surrounded. But again, not even lucky. I'm surrounded by these people because of what I'm given, the energy that I'm giving off and the vibration that I'm kind of putting out. That's why these people are around me, I think.
100%. Your vibe attracts your tribe, right?
Yeah.
I think one of the things you hit on there, which is crazy important, and this is what's missed in the online guru space. I've been playing around with this idea and I'm trying to like verbalize it more and more. It's the idea of where and how. And most of us are obsessed with like watching YouTube videos and learning how we're going to do something, but we don't think about the where. Where does it get me? And really, if we focus more attention on the exact where, and the where is, what's my life going to look like? How am I going to feel inside? It's like your vision for yourself, for your future. It's like if you can focus your attention on getting so specific of the details of that where, of exactly what that looks like, the how to get there becomes very obvious. Yet we spend all of our time paying all these mentors perhaps, and we learn their how. And like you said, they could be someone who's working fucking 20 hours a day. They're out of shape. They don't have any relationships. And they're like, I made 100K in the last week. And it's like, you're yellow and you haven't seen the sun. Okay, great. If that was your goal, I'm not here to be like one's right or the other. But first, before you start looking for mentors, get very clear what experience of reality would you like. Think about that first before you start trying to like, how to make 10K a month on this
exactly.
And that.
Like forget about all of that.
Yes.
Just think about exactly just think about when you wake up in the morning, what are you going to have to do? And what do you want to do? That's literally the most important thing. And like, I'll give lots of people don't know what I have to do. So I'll give it as an example so that people can understand. I don't have to do anything, literally. And like, if I don't post on Instagram or YouTube for a month, then maybe a couple of and like, by the way, my managers who are in charge of my sponsorships, I'm friends with as well. So I might get a little slap on the hand, but like, Louis, you haven't posted in a month. What the fuck have you been doing? Oh, fuck yeah, you're right. Better sort this shit out. So what do I need to do? Ideally, this is in an ideal world for me to make decent money and for me to feel fulfilled. I need to post 1 or 2 YouTube videos a week. And I need to post 3 or 4 times on Instagram. And I need to do an Instagram story every day, showing my workout, showing me going for a run, showing me what I have for lunch. That's it. And now that I have the Creator Club, I have to do one Zoom call, and it's not I have to do, it's I get to do.
Yeah.
I get to do one Zoom call a week, which again gives me more fulfillment than if I wasn't doing it. I feel so much better for doing it. I have such high energy after doing it. And I do a Zoom call every week with the boys for 1 hour. It always goes on to end up being 2 hours. That's fine. Teaching the boys about something that I know, that I love. Teaching the boys about something that I love, that I'm a few steps ahead of them. That's it. It's my life.
Yeah.
And I can go to bed whenever I want. I can go and party for 5 days if I really want to. And then I've only got 2 days to film, but like I can do whatever I want every single day.
Yeah.
And I can wake up whenever I want. And if I'm bored of Bali, I can come with you tomorrow to Bangkok. Like I can literally do that. Take my backpack and let's go to Bangkok tomorrow. Like that is the fucking life that you want to be living.
So my question is there, because look, people may be listening in, they're like, oh yeah, right, sounds very good, but I'm actually working a real job. I'm working my ass off and I'm like respectable. And like, okay, cool. From your point of view, I mean, I'm really interested, and you know this, like, I'm really curious about like, just what the fuck's going on here? Like in general, like reality, all of this, like what's all this about? It's interesting to me. It's not like how I make my money or anything, but it's a big curiosity of mine. I'm like, why are there religions? That's interesting. What's all this spiritual stuff about? Like, I'm curious about all of that stuff. But then also there's this kind of, people get, what I notice is there's some real rabbit holes that people get like sucked into, and it becomes their whole thing. And so yeah, it's something to tread carefully. From like your experience of living, like what do you feel like we're here to do? Like as a human being who's popped up and you're born, you didn't ask for any of this, like it's all a bit mad. Like what do you think it's all about, like from your point of view?
This is a really good question, and this is very fucking deep.
Yeah.
And I had an experience on Saturday that made me think like this, and I was like, fuck, this is literally insane. And again, you're asking what is all of this about? Like, of course we need the necessities to live. So
yeah,
we need sleep, we need food, and we need water. But we pretty much don't need anything else.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, sunlight is good as well. But I mean, we could probably live in a cave for quite a while without any sunlight. But like, lots of people are following those things because they believe it. Like they believe that religion, they believe what they've been told. Or they look at someone and they look up to them because they believe that they want to live that certain life. Or someone buys a nice watch because they believe that having this nice watch is going to make them have some form of more authority or be respected more because they've got a nice watch.
Yeah.
So that's what they believe. So everything is whatever you believe. And most people don't really have a choice because they've been probably... their parents have told them to believe things in a certain way. And I mean, like, I don't have a fancy watch, but I'm literally wearing fucking two straps.
But you have got two.
Two straps on my wrist here because I believe that this is telling me if I have a good sleep.
Yeah.
I mean, there's obviously science behind some of it. But again, like, why are we here? Why are we here? That's a really good question. And what the fuck are we actually doing? And I told you this after my experience that I had. I came and told you straight away that life is literally just an adventure, okay? We all have a mission, 100%. I know this for sure, that we all have a mission, okay? And ideally, we want to leave the world a better place than what it was. So you have to basically decide what is your mission. And there's going to be lots of other little kind of sub-missions, mini adventures that you go on and you kind of get distracted by. But at the end of the day, what is your one purpose? What do you want to leave the world and be like, look, when I'm in fucking heaven or wherever I am, looking down, that's the impact that I had on this person or those people, or that's the effect that I had on whatever it was. So I've been thinking about this a lot. It's really fucking hard to find out the answer.
Yeah, bro, like this is, no one knows, right? Is that,
for me right now, and again, this might change. For me right now, I feel like my mission is to help other people kind of share their story and kind of find their mission.
Yeah.
Like I want to ask people questions to basically to get into their head and be like, why are you doing that?
Yes.
why does that make you feel good, or why does that make you feel bad? I want to know why. I want to know the reasons for why people are acting or behaving the way they are. Yeah. And I want to help them once they realize what it is and what makes them feel good. I want to help them kind of share their story so that inspires other people, and it just kind of goes on for infinity.
That's God's work, man. So there's this great quote. It's like, the glory of God is a human fully alive. And something I've been playing around with recently as well. It's a lot of these religions, a lot of these spiritual texts, and this goes exactly with what you just said. Like, people are looking for an answer. Like, tell me what it is I need to do. Like, is the answer here? No, you're not going to find, oh, well, maybe it's this thing. Tell me what it is I need to do. Okay, that didn't satisfy me. The kind of secret is, like you said, it's like, I decide that's my mission. I'm going to make that happen. And that's what I'm here to do. And then you kind of discipline yourself to get rid of everything else that does not support that mission. Yes, there'll be the side quests, necessary side quests that need completing along the way. But I really do think that that's like the beauty of being down here. It's like, hey, what do you want? What do you fancy? Give it a shot. Like,
bro, I literally got so deep into this the other night, and like I was thinking like a lot of people look up to monks. Like a lot of people see monks as like this kind of like huge, like, I lived like a monk for 5 years. So fucking what, to be honest? Like, that's because you believe that living like a monk is good. Yeah. But like, other people don't give a fuck. Yeah. Right? But a monk, I was asking myself, like, if everyone needs to have a purpose, right? Yeah. Like, I was getting so deep into it, and I was thinking about stuff like, if we're going to meditate, why are we meditating? Because it's actually quite selfish. But then the purpose of meditation, the purpose of being a monk, right? The monk doesn't realize, and he doesn't care about the opinions of other people or whatever. But actually, by the monk being extremely disciplined, people look up to him, and maybe they are then more disciplined in their life. Yeah. Which then leads to them performing better and aiding them towards their mission.
Yes.
If you're performing at your best and you're living, for example, if you meditate, that might help you with anxiety, that might help you with past trauma, that might help you heal, that might help you kind of shut out all the outside noise and then just know exactly directly what to focus on. And at the end of the day, that's helping you in your mission.
Yeah.
So I was really kind of just going through, okay, why did they do this? Why do they do this? Why do some people live like this? And at the end of the day, it's so that you can be your best self.
Yes.
And so that you can do whatever your mission is.
This is interesting, man, because I love the idea of this monk here, because, you know, a lot of kind of spiritual teachings or whatever, you kind of look up to this sort of isolation of a monk of, right, oh, they went to a fucking ashram and sat there for 5 years. And okay, and they come back, they're like, I achieved enlightenment and nothing really matters. All right, good for you.
Exactly.
Like, your mum was ill. Like, yeah. I think one of the things I've kind of realized is, you want to satisfy your own needs or experience, and you want to follow your own curiosities, but then you realize that actually, let's talk about this from like a selfish point of view. For me to have the optimal experience, I want those around me to also be having the optimal experience of life.
Exactly.
And it's like, it's almost selfish. It's like, I would like you to thrive, because you thriving means that I get to thrive more. And it's this kind of, you start to realize, like, even though when you make it about you, it's like, actually, you just want to, all of you guys around you, it's like, kill it, because that makes your experience better and your family and whatever. And I don't know, I think, going into like an ashram, I've always liked the idea of being a monk and learning like a martial art for 6 months and disappearing. I think it'd be cool. Be a good YouTube
It's
video.
Good discipline. I think everyone, I think to become a good person, you need discipline. And when I look at people who behave badly, and like my father was pretty strict on me, but sometimes I hate him for it, and sometimes I'm like, thank fuck he was tough on me, because discipline is the absolute key. When I look at people who behave badly, it's because they've never been disciplined, or they've never had any discipline in their lives.
Yeah.
And like, everyone needs discipline. And like, for example, this is again funny not to use Joel as an example, but I will.
Shout out Joel.
Shout out to Joel. Yeah. Joel, by the way, is like much younger than me, but I look up to him. He's clearly one of my role models, which is why I always talk about him. But like, Joel's father is also a really good father, and he didn't really discipline Joel in the same way that my father disciplined me. But Joel became a very good person because of it. And again, some people need discipline to behave at their best, and some people don't. Yeah. Some people just, like, for me, for example, I can easily go off the rails a little bit, and someone just like get put in the back of a police car. Okay, I've learned my lesson. I'm not going to do that again. And other people just can't learn from their mistakes, and they'll just keep putting in the back of the police car until eventually they just have to stay there forever. But discipline is the key for everyone, and that applies to everything. Like in running or in everything in your life, discipline is the key.
Yeah. With your experience of everything that's got you up until this point, until this conversation, has there been like anything particularly painful at the time in your life that was rough to go through, but now you're grateful for? Anything that was, a real experience, but you look back now and you're like, there are either lessons there. I'm curious like what that was and how that kind of defined who you are now.
Few rough moments. Yes, there's a lot. There's actually a good few, but like never anything really, really bad. And that's something that I'm super lucky and super grateful for, is that, touch wood, never really lost anyone that's been super close to me, or like, well, I have, but not up until recently, but nothing that, I don't know, maybe it's just my outlook on it, that I don't let it impact me very deeply. But like, there's been, a lot of it is kind of self-inflicted as well. Like, for example, I jumped off my balcony in Ibiza and broke my heel. Just being an absolute idiot. And then like crashed my car. Like, and again, because I was living this extreme kind of party boy lifestyle. So like broke my heel, couldn't pick up my camera, so couldn't do any work for literally 3 months because I video myself, take all my photos myself. So couldn't do anything. And I was like, fuck, I don't really have a safety net because I've spent all of my money. So I don't have any savings to kind of keep me going. Like I need to pay my rent in Ibiza, which is 3,500 a month. I need to pay for my car, which is like 800 a month. And now I don't have my tool that makes me money. Yeah. And like most of all, a lot of my content is fitness. So I can't even fucking go to the gym because I've jumped off a balcony because I was just being an absolute idiot, but also living in the moment and feeling very good at the time. And I was like, fuck, this is like, but bro, I think like whenever I do get those moments, I feel bad for a very short period of time. Yeah. Luckily, I had my friend Ranbir there again, my manager, who took me to the hospital, got me sorted out. He actually paid all my bills because I didn't have any money at the time. Yeah. So he paid all my fucking medical bills. So again, just having that fucking team of good people, like my parents don't have that much money, so they've never been able to help me out. But my parents believe in me, so they know that if when the shit hits the fan, even though we can't give Louis fucking $5,000 or a grand, like my mum and dad have never ever given me like more than a couple of £100, and that's for my birthday, for my Christmas. If I'm in a bad situation, they will never ever dig me out. Never. And that's what I kind of love about my parents, is that they're pretty unbothered and they'll know that Louis will work it out himself. And that's what I fucking love.
They believe in you.
Yeah, like bro, when I was in Ibiza just destroying my life, I was thinking about this the other day, destroying my life for like almost 2 years. And I remember I've been thinking deeply a lot recently and reflecting. I was thinking about like there was a time where I'd have to call my mum every Sunday. I routinely called my mum every Sunday, and I'd have to tell her some other new shit like, fuck, I've fucking broken my heel, mum. And she'd be like, oh my God. And then, yeah, I've crashed my car off a cliff in Ibiza and, oh, fuck. And I lost my Garmin watch, or like, and every week it was just something new. And like, for some reason, something in my head, I was like blinded by this party boy lifestyle in Ibiza. I completely blinded myself, and nothing was clicking in my head, telling me to like, my mum would just tell me like, oh, like, must have been fucking hard for my mum to have to listen to this shit every single week. And she was just like, oh, it's okay, don't worry about it, you'll work it out, and blah, blah, blah. And then eventually I worked out in my head, Louis, self-destruction time is over. Something very bad is going to happen here, or you're going to lose everything. And your friends aren't going to help you. Your parents aren't going to help you, because no one's going to feel sorry for you because you're doing this to yourself. So now's the time to get out and stop and change. So yeah, I'm very lucky that nothing really ever bad has happened to me, ever. Like, so I'm just very lucky for that, I guess.
Yeah, so interesting.
I don't I feel like I've got, again, apart from family members getting sick or dying and stuff like that, which touch wood, hopefully none of that happens anytime soon. I'm pretty lucky in that I have I'm very hyper aware. Yeah. And that I don't allow bad things to happen to me because I'm very vigilant. And like bro, I don't know, like I am, although I can blind myself sometimes. I'm also very hyper aware, and I know when things are potentially going to come and bite me in the ass, and I'm ready for them, and I know how to kind of fight them off. So yeah, bro, nothing terrible has happened to me ever. And if anything bad has happened to me, it's through myself.
Yeah.
And like,
that's such a mature perspective.
Breaking up with my ex, again, I was an absolute pussy about that.
Yeah.
I basically couldn't break up with her, and I've never talked about this. And I basically just went on a self-destruction path so that she had to break up with me. That's probably one of my only regrets in my whole entire life. I have no regrets about anything. I've learned my lessons. Even that, I've learned my lesson. But she had to go through a lot of kind of suffering and pain. And so did I, but I just masked it with self-destruction. And that's my only regret, is that I was a fucking pussy. Literally a pussy.
I've been there, bro. And it's this lesson of like, you have to live out your truth, whatever your truth is, whatever that means to you. And you know it. You know when like, you're like, yeah, that's like kind of what I actually believe and think. You will self-destruct. Like, for example, within a relationship, I imagine it maybe played out similar. Like, once you know that maybe it's not going to work out and you need to break up, and it's fucking rough to like break up with someone, you're gonna do it one way or another. And that okay, this habit, I'm gonna do this, and maybe I've done this, and now I'm making you break up with me. It will play out anyway. It will play out anyway. Of course. And it's I've been there, man. And you have to kind of own your whatever your truth is and be congruent with it and act in accordance with it. Otherwise, you're gonna shake your world around you until.
It's also very difficult when you're in a situation that you've never had to be in before. So, for example, my ex was my only ever girlfriend. I had never been in a relationship before. Had no experience of what to do in that situation. And all my friends couldn't give me any advice because they had never been in a 10-year relationship either. So like, it was very hard, but at the time kind of tried to mask the pain. And that's kind of when I went to Ibiza and just went on a 2-year kind of, I enjoyed myself as well. I made lots of good memories in Ibiza and had the best times of my life and made the best memories of my life and made some of my best friends. But again, it all kind of happened at the same time, and it was kind of a blur of emotions. And now when I look back on it, it's not something, the way I dealt with it and the way it ended is not something I'm proud of, and something that if I could go back and change it, I would just grab my balls and be a fucking man about it.
Man, I appreciate that. It's so vulnerable, and it's just awesome. It's great for guys to hear this, and know that like we're all going through this sort of stuff, these ups and downs and crazy things that life throws at us. I want to say I've fucking loved this conversation.
Me too.
This has been just awesome, man. Like I want to go and just like jump around. I'm like,
me too.
I'm excited.
I was literally thinking about when we finish, I want to just give you the biggest hug ever.
I want to give you a hug, bro, man. And like, I just want to throw some attention at you because you're a fucking legend. You're doing awesome work. Everything with the Creator Club, mate. I know this is going to help so many guys out, and it's just going to blow the fuck up, and it's going to be fucking awesome. Before we kind of finish up, I wanted to just sort of ask anyone who's listened to this, they're with us this far, they like your lifestyle, they want to absorb a bit of you, they've got a bit of spare time this week, they've got 1 hour this week to do fucking something. What should they do? What's an action they can take? What's something they can do that can just move them like one step forward, closer towards, this sort of lifestyle, feeling amazing about themselves, all of this, like what is something they can do?
They've got an hour.
They got an hour. Let's say they got an hour this week, or they got an hour today.
Right, this is what I would do.
Yeah.
It's actually like, if you've got an hour to change your life, it's actually pretty fucking hard, but I've got the answer pretty fast.
Okay, let's go.
You put me on the spot. I would go, and again, it's difficult because it depends if, is it someone that's watching this, because I'm assuming that it's someone who's watching. It's not just a random person.
Yeah.
It's someone who's consuming our content.
Yes.
Okay, so it's someone who knows a little bit about me or knows a little bit about you.
Yeah.
I would say pick 3 to 5 role models. And again, they don't have to be on social media. They can be author of a book. They can be a fucking Roman emperor. Like, they can be anyone in history. And I would say, pick 3 people. Decide why you look up to them as a role model. Have a look at how they live their lives. And again, if they are on social media, have a look at all their content have a look at their YouTube videos, do a full analysis on them, and at the end of that hour, have 3 guys or girls, whoever they are, that you really look up to and really admire. And then from there, basically follow in their footsteps. And don't copy them exactly, but try and live how they've lived. Try and find out more about them and who they are and what their story is, and then apply it to your own life.
Man, what wisdom. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for taking the time, man. This has been awesome.
It's been the most enjoyable conversation I think I've probably ever had. One of them up there.
Fuck yeah, you're a legend. Appreciate you, man.
Thanks, Tom.
Appreciate
it.
Oh,
legend.
Man. I'll give you a hug now.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome, bro.
So good, bro.